Recording.
Rolling, motherfucker. Rolling. Quarantine number 6, I think.
Is
Episode number 6 on lockdown. I think it is, man. I'm pretty sure the last one was number 5. So, yeah, this is 6, dude. It feels like it's been a long-ass time. I'm not going to lie. Like, for you, I can't imagine. I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm not going to get into it. But, yeah, I know you've been doing a lot longer than me. But me, I'm just like, man. Feels like a fucking lot longer than I've been.
Dude, I tell you this, man. Like, when the quarantine's fucking lifted and, like, everything kind of gets back to some semblance of normalcy.
Yeah.
I'm not going on the fucking roads for, like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because everybody who gets back in their car for the first time after 2 months and everybody's, like, in traffic and shit, it's just going to go to shit, dude.
It's going to be a hot mess. It's going to be horrible. Yeah, dude. Right now is when they need to start. Okay, what's the exit route? You know what I mean? Like, or entrance or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we going to get back into fucking normalcy without a total clusterfuck happening? It's gonna happen, dude. We clusterfucked into the quarantine. We're gonna clusterfuck out of it. That's how we roll, dude.
Oh, for sure, man. Well, and like, I mean, I'm not here to talk about.
No. Yeah.
I just like that. Like, there's so many like little pieces of going back to normalcy that I feel like they need to like flick the switch one at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't just say, okay,
groups out.
Like, they can't just say free for all. Everybody fucking go.
Yeah,
so,
no shit.
Fucking chaos, man. There'll be like 4-hour waits at Applebee's and shit.
Yeah, because that's where I'm going when I get out, fucking Applebee's.
Well, some people they'll be like, "Fuck it, man! I want to go get it. I want to go get diarrhea for $12.99, like whatever the fuck."
Applebee's it up. No shit. Oh man. Well, fucking happy Easter, bro. It's Easter Sunday. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, man, dude. As per usual, busy as fuck.
I know. Well, dude, we've already talked about this, but like I did, my Easter was cool. Like, I didn't know if the kid was gonna really get the whole Easter egg hunting thing, but he like straight up egg. Oh, basket, I got this. And then it was like he had a blast, so it was really cool. And then it was literally relaxing all day. So my day's been fantastic. And when there's 2 people at home, 2 parents and 1 kid, it makes life a lot easier. I'll say that. When I'm spending all day, it's like, I'm juggling and shit, trying to figure out,
how to do all of it. Yeah, man. I'm super blessed in the fact that, my wife and I are both home. So, like, when one of us needs help, it's kind of like, tag in. Like,
yeah.
Can you come watch him while I try to get lunch together? Like, And she's been fucking amazing, man. My wife has been, dude, she's been the fucking rock holding this shit together. I'm a fucking basket case. So, yeah, dude. Like, you see how I pick shit apart? You see how I pick shit apart in the podcast? Think about that with this current situation that's going on, and then just multiply by like 50, because that's all. It's all anybody talks about. Anything that you do is just fucking. So, dude, it's not been a pretty sight over here.
Well, you hide it well, bro, at least on the exterior. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're like, I'm good. You're like, I'm fucking dying inside.
The clown inside of me is crying all the time.
Right. Well, shit, hey, man, for whatever, for Easter, it was, it was weird. We usually, and I'm not religious in any sense, but, the family still gets together, and that's what Easter is. Yeah, were you surprised? You're like giving me a face like, you're not religious?
Really?
Right. Did you just meet me? But, it's still like the family gets together and shit. So it was a little bit different as far as that goes. But, dude, I'm so happy that they're putting that into play. And hopefully, this doesn't set us back, because that was my biggest fear, is that this whole holiday or any holiday is just going to set us back with group gatherings and shit. So hopefully it's smooth sailing and we're going in the right direction and we can get out of this shit sooner than later, man. I know what your theory is and we don't need to get into it, but I'm still hopeful. I'm Mr. Hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah, let me say this on Front Street. I hope that you're right.
Right. But you're like, you're fucking wrong. You're like, I hope.
I hope that your optimism is well placed.
Right.
I doubt it.
Yeah. Me too. You doubt it. Yeah, I know. Oh shit. Well, right on, man. Yeah, shit. Nothing, dude. It's funny. Like normally when we start the episode, we're like, what's going on with your day? We always have some sort of funny ass story about work or some shit to bitch about, but it's literally the same shit as last week and the week before. Like, so I'm finding like our early banter is repetitive, and I'm waiting for something like interesting to happen so we can be like, hey, I got some shit to fucking, something interesting to bring to the table. But it's where we're at, I guess.
Nah, I mean, I've been doing it, like, even though we're in quarantine, like, I'm actually, like, using quarantine to kind of, I mean, it's really, a lot of it is stress relief for me. But, like, dude, I'm walking, like, almost 5 miles a day right now. Like, I'm down almost 30 pounds, like.
Dude, I saw photos. You look fucking fantastic, man. I mean, you're still ugly as fuck. I mean, you can't fix that.
Well,
hey.
Like, so there's like, if you open up like any kind of Instagram, like, fuck, we're just gonna talk about quarantine. I don't give a shit. Like, I know everybody's talking about it. It's all over the place.
It's inevitable.
It's the reality of the situation. We're just gonna talk about it. Fuck it. But so you open like Instagram, social media, like any of these things, like there's like a handful of people who are like really like working on, working out or like
bettering themselves.
Projects or and then the other like 80% of the population is just getting extremely shithoused, like eating, drinking, fucking partying, and hats off to them. Like if they've got that ability, then great. If you locked me in a house for multiple months and told me like, okay, man, you just have at it. Like, dude, I'd never come out of quarantine.
No, fuck no.
I wouldn't fucking survive it.
No, me neither.
But also, like, dude, like, just like the fucking energy level of trying to keep up with work and the kid and life in general, like, dude, that balancing act, like, dude, if I was trying to do that shit hungover or a little fucking drunk or anything, dude, it'd be
game over.
Dude, I had a little bit of a temperature yesterday, like a little bit of a temperature, and it was like full on panic attack. Like my temperature got to 100 degrees, and I was like, 2 Tylenol, zinc, like fucking freaking the fuck out. Like,
yeah,
dude, I lost my shit.
Away from me. Fuck yeah, dude.
I lost my shit for like 3 hours. I was like, I haven't been anywhere. I haven't fucking talked to anybody. I got this from a fucking Amazon package. Fucking some shit. Like, my fucking mind. Dude. And then I took my temperature like 8 times today. I was like, I was like, oh man, I'm fucking fine. So
good to go. Yeah, dude, that is the scary thing about this is like every cough, every tickle, you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
You're overanalyzing fucking everything. And that's part of, just human nature. This is some scary shit. And we've got our family inside with us, so it's scary. Like, dude, I get it 100%. And I don't sit around and dwell on that shit, man. I'm working out every day. I have a routine with my kids, so honestly, it's not bad. It's really not. I can't bitch. I shouldn't bitch.
Oh no. The only like I'm actually I don't give, like, quarantine doesn't bother me. Like the staying at home, that shit doesn't bother me. Like, really, what bothers me, like, okay, like in the back of my head, like, that like WebMD is like seen like 0 hits in the last like 2 months because everybody, doesn't matter what's wrong, they're like, nah, dude, it's the fucking virus, So WebMD is just, but like to me, like there's that little thing in the little thing in the back of my head that's like, you're gonna be that 1% that fucking dies from this thing. But that's not even like the thing that like really fucking scares me. That scares me is like human nature in a panic. Like,
yeah.
And like for the most part, my neighbors are fine. It's like 2 blocks over, there's some tweakers that are like, like, what the fuck are these jackasses gonna do?
You're
I'm
like, I'm watching you, motherfucker.
yeah, and I'm like, all right, motherfucker, like,
come near my yard.
yeah, like you better be fucking flying a white flag high and fucking clear if you get near my fucking house.
Dude, I tell you that you're right. That is what scares me. It's how are people reacting and you know what's next.
Yeah.
But you know, well, hey, no quarantine talk. Yeah, no, dude, it's inevitable. Like I said, and you're right, dude. It's this is what's going on in our life. So just like before, we bitched and talked about our kids and work. This is what we're living in, and this is what we're dealing with. So this is what the fuck we're talking about before we get into shit.
Now it's kids, work, quarantine.
Kids work, quarantine. That's right. And I still go out to work. It freaks me out a little bit, but I'm kind of a dude. I'm straight up a social distancing Nazi, dude. I'm like, get your ass back in the car, pop your trunk. I will put your shit in the back. I'm wearing a fucking mask. Don't even look at me.
Yeah,
They're like,
Jesus. I'm like that too. Like, I'm like, they haven't proven that long eye contact will not transmit the virus.
Yeah, like, that's right. Close your eyes.
Yeah. So.
Shut your mouth when you talk to me.
Right. Exactly. So.
Right on. Well, shit, man. If you guys are, I would say if you guys are also, you know, enjoying your quarantine and you want to talk about it, hit us up on our social media. Shit, you can hit us on our Facebook and our Instagram at. Hit them up, Shep.
It's on True Events Podcast.
That's right. On the Twatter.
We are Podcast BOTE, BOTE.
Hell yeah. You can, and dude, okay, I've got to apologize. I think either last episode or 2 episodes ago, I said, hey, I'm going to make sure that all our newest episodes and videos are posted up on YouTube. Wah, wah. Joshua dropped the fucking ball. I'll throw myself under the bus. So, but they are coming. I'm working on it. Actually, a few of them are uploading now. It takes forever. But anyway, they're coming. So go to our YouTube channel, which is
Based on True Events Podcast, BOTE, BOTE.
Oh, that's right. We also still have the Facebook group, Rock the Boat, where I would love some more interaction. I know everybody's, you know, their social media pretty much consists of, well, today, pictures of kids and fucking eggs, but for the most part, like quarantine and Tiger King memes. I mean, that's pretty much the what's going on social media, and it's getting fairly old, although it's hilarious. But hey, shit, hit us up. Let's find some shit to talk about. Give us some suggestions. We did post the Eric's idea about the vote on your listener suggestion that you want to hear, and we've had some good hits and some good feedback already.
Yeah,
so keep that shit coming.
We do. And so, I mean, basically the idea behind that is like, this is what you guys are listening to. You guys tune in every week. You know, we want it to be as driven by the audience as possible, man. We want you guys to really enjoy the content that we're bringing you. Like, if you don't give a shit about hearing this story or that story, man, like that's why we're giving you guys not only the opportunity to post your own suggestions and possibly win a t-shirt, but you're also getting to vote to hear the episodes that you want to hear. And anybody who is throwing out votes on the suggestions, keep in mind that we're doing 2 episodes. So you can vote like 1 and 2 or 1 and 4 or 3 and 5, you know, whatever it is, because that way those 2 episodes it's going to be like the 2 most popular episodes, the most voted episodes are the topics that we're going to do for that week.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And by the way, what he said about the free shirt is that shit is still going on. That is, I wrote for both. We still will pick our favorite suggestion and send you a free shirt.
Free shirt. So the quarantine shirt.
The quarantine shirt. That's right.
It'll be fucking dry cleaned and fucking like bag zipped, like fucking.
Like, technically, yeah, but I'll be honest with you, because it's gonna come in the mail. I'd still wash that shit. Yeah. Don't fuck around. Yeah. But yeah, so and of course our field trip episode, as you've heard many times, is temporarily postponed, but we're still going to Waverly. So
right, yeah, we're definitely gonna go. And at this point, I'm fucking excited to get out. Like,
Right. That's all it took, a fucking quarantine to get Shep excited about our field trip, motherfucker.
Right, exactly.
Oh shit. All right, cool. Well, yeah, thank you guys for listening. We just crossed 6,000, which is fucking epic.
You say that we just crossed 6,000, but we're really actually pushing closer to, like, at this point, like 6,200. Like,
yeah,
when we provide you with updates on our number, it's wildly out of range of where we're actually at when the episode fucking airs. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Especially like if we're like, today is a little weird because today is Easter Sunday and this is the Easter Sunday episode that's going to get posted. But like when we're anywhere ahead, it's like shit. We're like 1,000 or whatever plus whatever number we're giving you.
Exactly. But thank you. The number's amazing. Whether it's 6,000, 6,200, whatever the fuck, it's epic, and we're appreciative. So keep it coming. We love it. And we're gonna keep doing this shit.
That's right.
And it's your episode, bro.
It is my episode.
Sit back and enjoy, bro.
All right. So this episode was actually given to me. I think it was originally suggested by our friend Andy. And then you re-suggested it. I've almost done this episode like 4 fucking times. But I like it. I just needed the right timing to do it. Because I really like the story. And I feel like the kind of what we've been doing lately, it's a decent change of pace. So tonight's episode is a gentleman by the name of Robersons Smalls.
Yeah, this was a meme you sent me, by the way, which was why I suggested it. I think you sent it, or whatever. It was a meme that popped up, and I was like, oh, this is going to be right up your alley. This is great. So then I sent it to you or something. So I'm excited about this one.
So probably 4 months ago, Andy sent me this and was like, dude, this guy's cool. Maybe this is an episode you guys should do. And I sent it to you, and we've kind of ping-ponged it back and forth.
Word.
And so that's how we arrived where we are today. So just for a point of reference, if I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Andy's killing it with like suggestions and like everything out there. Like, not to put anybody, like, we love every bit of interaction that we get from everybody, but like, dude, really, like, if we had a payroll, like, I would seriously consider putting Andy on said payroll, because he's come up with some like fucking great suggestions. His stories are usually really fun to do. So that was just my quick shout out for the
wait, hold on. Yeah, his stories are really fucking fun to do. You remember that motherfucker gave me?
that shit was fun for me to listen to.
Well, yeah, fair enough. What was that? A child murderer fucking
Charlie Chop Off. He gave you Charlie Chop.
Yeah. Thanks, Sandy.
Technically, he didn't give it to you. He gave it to us.
You're right. And
you fucking jumped all over it.
And I didn't know what it was. That's
you were like
fair.
An 8-year-old on a trampoline when it came to jumping on that story, bro.
So, and then I was like, I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh fuck, I have chosen poorly. You know what I mean? But anyway, you're right, though. Andy's on point. So thanks, brother.
Yeah. So anyway, on to the gentleman, Robersons Smalls. So this is a story that most people don't know shit about. I knew very little about this guy. Like, this is a story that everyone should fucking know. Like, this should be a story that they tell in school, period. Like, of the time period of all the crazy characters that existed in the world at that time period, this dude needs to be one of the top of the fucking list. And you will hear why. This story's fucking amazing, and it's right up my alley. It's fucking history. It's right up your alley. It's revenge. It's fucking just all those pieces that just really have the build and the bones for a great story. So, Robersons Smalls. I'm going to give you a little background. I'm going to tell you the story, and then we can discuss as per we usually do. So Robersons Smalls was born on April 5th in 1839. He was an American. He eventually in life became an American businessman, a publisher, and a politician. He was born into slavery in Beaufort, South Carolina, and he freed himself and his crew and their families during the American Civil War by commandeering a Confederate transport ship, the CSS Planter, in Charleston Harbor on May 13th, 1862. This motherfucker starts as a baller. Okay.
That's so bad. That's so badass.
All right. So
awesome.
we're going to kind of start with his early life, and then we're going to kind of work forward. Okay. Like I said, he was born in 1839, and no one really knows. Like, the records aren't great about that time period, but it's likely that he was the son of the slave owner and one of the slaves. That's pretty much the common idea. That's the common idea of like where his lineage is actually from. So when he was 12, at the request of his mother, Smalls' master sent him to Charleston to hire out as a laborer for $1 a week. The rest of the wages that he received would be paid to his master. He worked in a hotel. He worked as a lamplighter. He worked on the streets in Charleston, kind of like as a semi-hustler kind of thing. I would imagine he had. Huh?
What's a lamplighter? Like, as a profession? What is?
Okay, so
I get somebody who lights lamps, but
when electricity didn't exist, that the lamps didn't all just turn on at night. Somebody had to go around with a big stick and light all the lamps.
So that's literally what it is. Like, one person had a job that went and, like, it wasn't like, hey, this is on my property, I'm going to light my fucking lamp. You know what I'm saying? Like, I figured that was people lit their own lamps. I didn't know that was a fucking profession. Dude,
well,
don't look at me like.
What about all
like
the people?
That's common knowledge.
What about all the lamps that people don't live in front of, like on streets and shit?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The owner of the property, fuck if I know. I guess the lamplighter.
It doesn't just happen. People wish that the lamps.
I get it. And that makes sense, but don't look at me like that's common knowledge. Like, oh, lamplighter, I'm fucking familiar. You son of a bitch.
The job profession is in the title.
Well, that's why I want a clarification.
All the pieces are there.
Move along.
You stopped me. All right. So anyway, lamplighter on the Charleston streets. In his teen years, he had a love of the sea, and he worked in the Charleston. He started working the Charleston docks and wharfs. He started off as a longshoreman, and then he became a rigger. Then he became a sailmaker, and eventually worked his way up to a wheelman, which is essentially a pilot of a boat. But since he was black, they wouldn't give him that title. They called him a wheelman. He actually got so proficient with navigating the little fucking waterways of Charleston that he was requested by the Confederate Army when the Civil War fucking broke out to be a wheelman on one of their fucking Confederate ships. Okay.
Damn.
So anyway, that's jumping ahead a little bit. We're going to move backwards for just a second. At age 17, Smalls married a woman by the name of Hannah Jones, an enslaved hotel maid in Charleston. She was 5 years older than him, and she already had 2 daughters. Smalls and her ended up having 3 children together. One of them died at 2, though, which sucks. I couldn't imagine losing your kid at any time, but much less, so young. His original plan was to basically buy the freedom of himself, his wife, the kids, all that. But the going rate for getting any of them freed was $800 a head. Okay, so if you do a little math, $800 in 1856 is the equivalent of $22,764 in 2019. just for reference.
Times 3.
Yeah. So after 3 years, he'd only managed to save up $100. So that plan was probably a little bit more dreamy-eyed than it was a reality. So in April of 1861, the American Civil War began at the Battle of Fort Sumter in nearby Charleston Harbor. In the fall of 1861, Smalls was assigned to steer the CSS Planter, a lightly armed Confederate military transport under the command of the Charleston District Commander Brigadier General Roswell Ripley. Basically, it was basically like a supply ship. It would survey and scout waterways, drop off materials for the Confederate soldiers along the riverways of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida.
Roswell Ripley, dude, what a name! Fucking hell.
Right. No shit, like that is the most sci-fi name I've ever heard. So basically he did this for some time. On May 12th of 1862, the plane traveled 10 miles southwest of Charleston and stopped at Coles Island, the Confederate post in Stono River, and was being dismantled. The ship was picked up 4 large guns to transport to Fort Charleston Harbor back to Charleston. The crew loaded 200 pounds of ammunition, 20 cords of firewood and planters. At some point, he loaded up his family members and the family members of all the black crew. Okay,
no, continue. Yeah.
So he basically picks up the families of all of his people, all these guns and ammunition, and his idea is like, I'm gonna fucking shoot my way out. We're all gonna fucking die, or we're all gonna get away.
Yeah, right.
So he was like gonna, like, in the middle of the night, the idea was that he was gonna like slip out, and basically like he like knew that he was be facing like court martial, which. Dude, if you're a slave in the Civil War, they're gonna just kill you and everybody on the boat
and all your family. Yeah, dude, it's a huge risk, but I get it. It's one worth taking.
But here's where it gets real fucking dicey. All right, so at 3 a.m. when they decide to fucking leave, there's a Union blockade basically holding in the Confederate Navy. Right, so he's running the risk of getting caught by the Confederate Army stealing the boat, loading guns, ammunition, and slaves. And he's literally running the risk of being killed by the fucking Union for breaking the blockade.
Yeah.
Right? So
you got both sides now. Oh, shit.
So he basically put on a captain's uniform, wore a straw hat similar to the captain's, and sailed the Planter past the Southern Wharf and stopped at another wharf to pick up his wife and children. All right.
Dude, make a pit stop. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, that's like how he was like getting away or whatever. So he figured his disguise would confuse the Confederate onlookers, and he headed straight for the Union's Navy, like full sail ahead, bro. Yeah, like he was seen. He basically sewed a Union flag out of a bed sheet. So like as soon as he got out of the fucking Confederate harbor, he fucking like put up the new flag of the fucking Union and like basically just like parked up by the fucking Union. It was like, "What's up, guys? We free. We free."
I'm with you. I'm with you. That's awesome.
Don't fight. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. I know I'm black. Don't shoot. So,
yeah. Wow.
So basically, like just in that beginning bit of the story, like you get the idea of like how smart this motherfucker was. Like crafty as fuck. Like, no into his resiliency, no into like what he's willing to do to like fucking do what needs to be done.
He's determined as hell. Yeah, damn right. And he's brave as shit. I mean, dude, that takes some serious balls.
Oh,
You got big balls, Small.
You got big balls, big balls. So
Big balls.
Basically, he did actually fight for he was in service to the Union Army, which even at that time, like even during the Civil War, you didn't get good military jobs. You didn't get good out of the military jobs as an African American,
right,
in the Civil War, but you definitely didn't get great jobs in the military during the Civil War,
right.
no matter what side you were on.
So not a great time for you folks. That's rough, dude. That's what makes this story so exciting. I'm like literally like I kind of know what happened, but I'm still.
So he basically, like, his knowledge of ships and the Charleston area and basically that experience that he had is where they kind of employed him. Like, he actually did have a better gig with the Union Navy just because of his knowledge base. He had knowledge that other Union captains and pilots didn't have.
Sorry, let me stop you. What's the time frame that he was in the military versus taking the ship?
He was on that ship like about a year. So he like basically started crafting that plan pretty fucking quick, bro.
Well, so he was in the military on the ship. What I'm saying, when he stole the ship, he was in the military, and so that's where he gained all this knowledge.
Right, but before that, he had worked. He worked before Civil War broke out. He worked as a longshoreman. He worked as a pilot. So that wasn't actually with the Navy. He was just working the dock, working the wharfs and stuff. And he just basically learned everything he could about everything in life is about building value for yourself. And so to do that, he was making himself as knowledgeable as possible. And there's a whole lot that goes into this dude's life. A lot of the stuff I'm not really, we'd be here for like 2 fucking weeks talking about this dude's life. But he basically, I mean, he was a well-decorated war hero for basically his knowledge. After the Civil War, we'll go ahead and just jump ahead to that because we all know how shitty the Civil War was. But basically, like he made the equivalent. Let's see, he won in prize money for what he taught the military. Was like $1,500, and so the 2019 equivalent of that is $38,450. And it was basically prize money for the guns, ammunition, and the ship, the Planter. They're like, thanks for the gift, and he's like, well, give me my motherfucking money. And so wait,
hold on, just so I'm getting this right. So he stole the boat and then basically sold it,
ransomed it or he didn't ransom it. He was like, "Is there a reward?" And the Union was like, "Here's $1,500, dude. Good job. Thanks for 4 guns and all the ammo."
And I'm assuming everyone on the boat got safe. Okay, or was okay,
right, because they were trying to abolish slavery, so. They're not going to be like, oh, well, you know what? While you're here, could you pick up? Like,
good Lord.
So well, I mean, so anyway, after the Civil War, he immediately following the war, Smalls returned to his native city of Beaufort, where he purchased his former master's house at 511 Prince Street. which Union tax authorities had seized in 1863 for non-payment. Later, were you going to ask?
I just laughed. No, I just laughed. I was like, ha!
Later, the former owner sued to regain the property, but Smalls retained ownership in the court case. The case became an important precedent in other similar cases. His mother, Linda, lived with him the remainder of her life. He allowed the former master's wife, his former slave master's wife, an elderly Jane Bond McKee, to move into her former home prior to her death. Smalls spent 9 months learning how to read and write. He purchased the 2-story Beaumont building to use as a school for African American children.
Damn, dude.
That is right after he got out of fucking war.
Jesus. So, okay, first of all,
there's a lot to unpack. I figured we'd be stopping and starting a lot.
Yeah, amazing. But wasn't his former slave owner his dad?
Yes. Supposedly.
Okay, well, okay, right.
I'm pretty sure
Well,
he didn't call him dad.
Yeah, right. No, I get that. But so basically that's who's sitting there trying to like sue him, and he wins against his possible father. But okay.
Right.
Just want to make sure it was the same guy. So okay.
But so to kind of, I don't think I painted this in a clear picture. So the slave owner, his father, basically had the house seized by the tax man because he wasn't paying taxes to the union and blah 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 blah. So he buys the house. Like, he takes care of his mom. He moves everybody in there. He builds a fucking school. Like, you know, he buys a building for a school for African Americans. He does all that. But the real deal here is he also takes the wife of this slave owner and fucking lets her move back into her house when she gets ill, and doesn't let the slave owner back in, just takes care of his fucking wife.
Oh man, that's such amazing.
House.
This dude is like fucking God. Talk about a role model. Jesus.
Yeah, dude, he is a fucking boss. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, God, I need to do something with my life.
Right.
Good Lord. Although I wish that, I know he's married, so it's not going to happen, but I wish he, like, you know, somehow something, well, anyway, continue. I was going to go off and be like, I wish he had banged the dude's wife, and it's like, he's married. That would make him a horrible human being. So, sorry.
So, he did end up having 4 children. You can make whatever assumptions you want. So
no, I don't want to make that assumption. He is the perfect human being.
Yeah, dude,
and that did not happen. Yeah.
So some of Mr. Smalls' business ventures. In 1866, Smalls went into business in basically like his hometown with a businessman from Philadelphia. They opened a store for freedmen that served the needs of freemen. Smalls also basically taught any of these freed men like skills, how to read, how to write, how to like better themselves.
Jesus.
Like, yeah, dude. He like literally everything he touched was for the betterment of, you know, freed slaves. And basically, like, it didn't even really break down that way. Like, he took care of anybody that was a decent human. Like, like the fucking slave owner's wife. Like, you know, anybody else in that situation be like, fuck you, bitch, die in the street. And he's like, nah, bitch.
Absolutely.
He's like, come on in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to stay on the couch, but
you're sleeping on the couch, but I'm going to let you stay here. Now your husband can fuck off. But no, dude, and that's the decent thing to do. He's a better human being than 99.9% of the rest of humanity. Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
Dude. Like he's like that revenge guy who's like, he sticks it in and twists it, but it's like in a way where you're like, man, like that's the last thing I saw coming. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
dude,
like
I'm gonna take your land and then educate people on it who wouldn't have had a chance to get an education otherwise. Yeah, dude.
and who you fucking hate.
And who
Like
you hate, right?
you fucking hate. You own these people. Now I'm teaching these people to own businesses in the town where you fucking live. Dude,
In
it's
your
fucking
home that
funny.
you couldn't afford. Yeah, I mean, I know I love a good revenge story, like if he had shot the dude or something like Django where he came back or something awesome. But this is almost like better because
It's
he's
intelligent.
too good.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's intelligent.
Well, and the other thing is like he, instead of pouring it into like hatred and fucking just poison and bullshit, like any of us, like that would be my first fucking direction. He poured it into like the betterment of mankind, which is fucking amazing. But like, I mean, to talk about just to backtrack for a second, to talk about the brilliance of this man, instead of just taking a boat and grabbing his family and bouncing, he grabbed all the black crew and their families and loaded them on the boat.
Yeah.
And then he also, with the idea that he was softening the ability of the Confederate Army and going to get a better ransom for the fucking boat, loaded the boat with guns and ammunition.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's double smart because A, you might have to use them to protect yourself, but then
right.
B, that's worth some money.
Yeah,
dude, that's brilliant.
Yeah, dude. So this dude is a straight baller. So just for the record, when I said politician, he was not a slouch in the politician realm either. He was a member of the U.S. House of Representatives from South Carolina's 5th Congressional District. And let's see what else. Yeah, so he was
after he's come back and he's escaped, he's free and everything's good. He's just doing, now he's literally becoming a probably the only honest politician on the planet. Like, for real.
Yeah, dude, he like literally starts running. He's like, okay, I started all these businesses. I bought my old house. I came back to town and run shit. Like, I'm doing all the fucking things. So,
I just got to point out that this is the most positive fucking episode we've ever had. So how appropriate that's our Easter episode. Dude.
Right? So
fantastic.
So some of the honors and legacy and the legacy of Robert Smalls is Fort Robert Smalls was named in his honor. It was built by free blacks in 1863 on McGuire's Hill on the south side of Pittsburgh during the American Civil War, and it survived until the 1940s. Robert Smalls' house in Beaufort, South Carolina, has been designated a National Historical Monument. There's a statue dedicated to his memory in the Tabernacle Baptist Church of Beaufort. Dude, there's like schools and like, I mean, like, dude, the list of schools is ridiculous.
So what's awesome about that is the fact that this dude's getting props where props are due. You know what I mean? That's cool that he's being honored. You know, did he, I don't want to jump ahead, but I mean, pretty much I get it where you're going with this, but did he die of just old age? Tell me there's no horrible, sad ending to this awesome story, right?
Well,
fucker, dude. After I just said how positive it was, don't do it.
So let me tell this story first. Let me tell this story first before you make any decisions. All right. So in local politics, though Smalls was not officially involved with politics at a local level, he did have some influence. In 1913, in one of his final actions as a community leader, he played an important role in stopping a lynch mob from killing 2 black suspects in the murder of a white man. He pressured the mayor, saying that blacks he had sent throughout the city would burn the town down if the mob was not stopped. the mayor and the sheriff stopped the lynch mob.
Oh my God.
So, like,
He's a fucking angel, dude. Oh
yeah.
my God. If angels existed, this is proof. This is one. Oh my God.
Right. So, okay. In answer to your question, he died February 23rd, 1915, at the age of 75 in his hometown of Beaufort, South Carolina, of natural causes.
Ah, fuck yeah. All right. Good. Dude, you had me worried for real. I was like, oh no. And then you said lynch mob, and I was like, oh God, no.
No.
Don't do it.
He's a national treasure. Don't do it.
Yeah. Oh man. I literally thought I spoke too soon, and I was like, no shit. But oh, that's fantastic. I mean, of course, that is fantastic because he lived a long, crazy, amazing life and did so many cool things.
Yeah, and I mean, not only was he involved with state politics, he was involved with national politics. He started off a slave in, like, South Carolina was not a fucking charming gem of where to be a slave in America. Not that any place was.
Yeah, right.
South Carolina still has the fucking Confederate flag, I'm pretty sure, as their state flag. Like,
dude, South Carolina is still fucking South Carolina, bro.
So,
like, for real.
I'm not saying everyone in South Carolina is a piece of shit.
Well, no, Myrtle Beach is all right. They've come around a little bit, maybe, but yeah, I get comparatively, South Carolina compared to the rest of the United States is still struggling. But back then, I can't imagine. Cannot imagine.
Yeah, so I'm saying they probably made strides at this point in history, but comparatively speaking, they've been a little slow to the game in the tolerance world. But like, so he started off a slave in South Carolina and fucking did nothing, but everything he touched was hard work and fucking brilliance and fucking bettering mankind. So, in the idea that we've bounced this story around back and forth a handful of times, and I really like I said, man, I skipped most of his fucking Civil War career. I skipped most of his political career. Because I mean, like, there's a ton of details in there, but I just want to give you the fucking framework of this guy. Like,
well, dude, no, the way you handle it is good. Yeah, because you've given us the bullet points, which are amazing. Our minds can do the rest. I mean, shit, 47 minutes and you skip some stuff. You're right, dude. It would have been a 3-hour episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we get the fact that this dude was amazing.
Okay, so just for point of reference, the Civil War and his political career are like 3 to 4 pages a piece, and that's like bullet pointed detail. Wow. That's how involved this motherfucker was. So, and I say motherfucker out of complete respect. Like,
bad motherfucker.
This dude was a boss. Like, if, like, you know, if Carl Panzram is like the far end of like extreme like violence and hatred, this dude is like the other side of the spectrum on, oh, I'm going to get revenge, but I'm going to do it in a way that fucking you have to watch and live with, and it's going to make everyone that I touch and I love better.
Even people he didn't love. That's the whole thing. Like, he took, I don't know if pity's the right word. He took compassion, or he was compassionate for people that he didn't need to be compassionate towards. And that to me is, I mean, say no more. Yeah, I you know.
So we've done a lot of darkness on this show. Okay.
Yeah, right.
We've done mysteries. We've done conspiracy theories. I've talked a mad amount of shit about a lot of different fucking people, and called into question a lot of motivations when it comes to why people are telling a story. I will tell you exactly what my motivation is in telling this story right now. Is I feel like this is the kind of story that shows the possibility of what a human being can do and can be. And in a time where like I get super fucking edgy about how society can break down and people can fuck up and the world can be a piece of shit, this is a fucking beacon of light in a foggy darkness that I fucking need, man. This is a fucking story I want to live with in my head for a little while, man. I want some fucking joy, some fucking vindication, some fucking, my faith in mankind is restored. And this was the story, and this is why I'm telling the fucking story right now.
Fantastic timing, dude. Yeah, you just nailed it on the head, man. Because I've been possibly more negative than you have as far as entrusting the people around me, Americans in general. We had a conversation today that we're not going to get into, but I don't have a lot of faith right now. And so this does give you that sort of feel good, like, okay, you know what? A little reminder that not everybody's all bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is nice. Like, right. you give me the feels, bro.
I give you some
perfect,
feels back.
Perfect timing, though, for real. Easter aside, just this time that's going on in the world, but especially in this country that we're going through, like, this is a good timing, man. Good choice.
Yeah. So, like I said, to Andy, who suggested this months ago, to you, who'd kind of hammered on me a few times about doing this episode, I am happy that I held this episode until right now. I feel like, and like I said, I'd researched this because I'd only really known, I knew the story that when I came into this story, I knew the bit about him stealing the boat and like freeing his family. I didn't know any of the other shit. And
yeah, all I knew was that. I mean, that one little blurb or whatever in the meme was that this dude stole the boat, got revenge, was a slave who got revenge on something, and I was like, I'm sold. I love every bit of that sentence. But it turns out it's a way better story. The revenge is one portion of it, but I think his story as a good human is better than the revenge part.
Right.
And I love revenge.
So now it's time for Eric's soapbox. Just for a second. So I've told you this story. Arguably, I've only told you maybe 15% of this story. Why aren't we fucking told this story in school? Or if you are taught this story in school, then you need to fucking go thank your historical professors, your sociology professors, your political science professors. You need to thank whoever is bringing this story to light, because we talk a lot about stuff on this podcast where it's basically like if it bleeds, it leads. Or, it's people trying to project a certain like idea out in the world. What better fucking story to project in the world, especially at one of the nation's darkest times. The Civil War killed so many Americans, people on both sides of the fucking fight. And, innocent and not innocent, like that's not the discussion. Why isn't this dude like front page shit? Like, this should be fucking American history 101. I should have said Robersons Smalls, and everybody should have been like, I know this motherfucker's story. What are they going to tell me?
Yeah, right. No, I agree. This is a story that I will be happy to share with my kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And if he doesn't bring this home in his history books, because I'll be checking, because this one is going to stay with me for sure. This is one I won't let go. In fact, this is one I'll have to just kind of reference in my head again next time I'm feeling kind of, like I'm giving up on society. I'll go, okay, remember fucking Smalls, dude. So this is one that needs to be shared. I agree. And it should be in the history books, 100%.
So like we had an old episode that I told. It was an episode that I picked. It's the Andrew Jackson episode. And I basically, in that episode, we kind of talked about the savagery of mankind and that abominable will to live, that beastly fucking hard as nails fucking mankind. Again, Andrew Jackson would be over here. This dude is the same amount of fucking baller, just went the other way with it. And dude, I think we don't hear enough stories about that shit.
Oh yeah, 100%. Everybody wants to tell, us included. And honestly, the reason that I didn't know this story was this amazing, first of all. So if I had known this was a story, I would have said, hell yes, you need to tell this story. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I only got the little blurb, but most of the stuff that we talk about and most of the stuff that the world talks about has a negative or is violent or something because it's shocking. And this is the other type of shocking, but it's like, this is the kind of shit you need to hear to balance out the filth that we talk about on the other side. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's refreshing. Yeah, it's super refreshing.
You know, and I will say that, like, while we do deal with rougher subject matter from time to time, I feel like at the very least, between the both of us, we try to pay it the reverence that it deserves. Like, you know, you and I both don't come on here. Like, I'll do like the spooky, jokey voice every once in a while, but like, I don't get in that like morose, like, I don't get into all that. Like, I don't have a fucking Albert Fish tattoo on me. Like,
we don't love the serial killers. We enjoy telling good stories. Yeah. But we're not the people who are fans of these sick fucking individuals. In fact, the reason is because we're good human beings ourselves. You know what I mean? We may tell horrific stories, but truthfully, I would rather be talking about shit like this, you know, 95% of the time. But honestly, there's not that many stories that are this uplifting for real.
Yeah, because usually this story ends with, oh, and then he got shot, or, you know.
That's why I asked. I was like, okay, so there's no way this ends fucking on a happy note. I mean, so that's why I even said that. I was like, I'm waiting for it.
Right. So, no, I feel like it was a much needed breather from our usual fanfare. But you know,
yeah, I will actually go back and read some of. I'll find as much as I can on this guy because I want to know all those little details. But I'll do that on my own since this is obviously an hour-ish show. You know what I'm saying? Right. This is somebody that I would absolutely I will read on. And I bet you now that I know him and I can dig, there's probably a good amount out. I would hope that there's a good amount of information.
Yeah, there is a good amount out there. So. But
I would hope there'd be a movie even or something, you know, but they probably.
So if you really want to boil it down, just to make sure that he did die of diabetes. He died of the diabetes, the sugar sickness. But I mean, the motherfucker lived to 1975, or I mean, to the age of 75. He lived until 1915. So yeah. I mean, he lived through the fucking Civil War.
To live his life and to die of diabetes, dude, you win, bro. Like, good job.
Like, all done, man. You win, bro. You know what? All the good shit you did, you get an extra slice of pie every day. Extra slice of pie. You.
Every day. That's good. Oh shit, that's good, man. That's awesome. There's not even like this is such a good story, and it's so there's no other side of it, so there's not that much to discuss. It's the only thing you can say about this story is how good it makes you feel. So there's not that much discussion. I don't even have that many questions because it's all good, positive shit.
Well, no, I actually did leave like huge chunks out of the story for anyone who's compelled to like go look this guy up. I want everybody to go out, buy books, read articles, find whatever they can about this guy because his life is worth reading about. There's so many books that we all read about garbage humans that really isn't worth any of our time. This should be a book that everybody reads as an American, as a human. You should read this book. Like it shouldn't matter like political affiliation. It shouldn't matter country. This is the fucking story you should be reading.
Yeah. I agree, man. 100%. Literally nothing but good feels right now. It's good shit, man.
Good. So in a dark time of quarantine and bullshit that floats around on every fucking news channel on the planet right now, I thought I would be a bright center of hope for once. And
who fucking knew?
Voice.
Dude, yeah, what a there is hope for the future, man. I tell you, when Shep comes through with the fucking with the good feels, oh hell.
Yeah,
Everything's turning.
I did not shit on the main subject. I did not destroy dreams. I did not. I said I was on board for going to Waverly.
I'm telling you.
So,
well, yeah, shit. I think I'm gonna have to rethink my next episode because it's a dark one. So I'm like, no, God, I can't even get in that headspace.
Well, I mean, we can't veer too far off course, but I am glad that we had a. Let's put this one in the win category for once.
There it is. Perfect.
We got to win. Just
it was a big win, big W. I love it. Robersons Smalls, dude.
Robersons
awesome.
Smalls, man. If you don't know him, look him the fuck up.
Fucking Biggie Smalls. That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Oh shit. Right on, man. Well, hell, dude, that was a fucking amazing story. Good episode. I'm glad Andy originally suggested it. I'm glad I kept harping on you about it. I had no idea it was going to be this good. So I assumed there was going to be some good parts, but I didn't know it was all around just fucking a really fucking good human being that the world needs to hear about. So.
Well, I will tell you this. I will tell you this. Like, so, as we've been doing this now for a while, I do try to connect the dots a little bit when it comes to, I don't want to do like fucking 19 episodes in a row of pedophiles. I don't want to do, every heavy hitter back to back to back. But I do kind of like stories that kind of feed into each other, or just at the right, like if I feel something at the right time, like if I feel like it's a good story, if it needs to be told at a certain time, man, I just kind of try to go with that. And so that being said, like when you guys have suggestions, that's why we say, man, it's not that we don't like your suggestion. Maybe it's just timing. Maybe it's just there's a good time that we can drop an episode that'll really fit into the dialogue that we've been having or that we want to have coming up.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, on the 4 episodes that we posted that are listener suggestions that you guys are voting for, one of them is the kind of not a part 2, but it's a little bit more of extension of your homeboy with the Antarctica lost civilization theory and all that, and then the other one's a baby fucking killer. You know what I mean? Like, and if you guys vote on the baby killer, guess what? We may not do that next, but we will 100% do it. If we're not feeling about talking about baby killers, but it'll absolutely happen. And because we are all over the place, and I like that about it. But yeah. I mean, it's just that's the whole thing. We don't have any there's no rules, and we will do them when we feel like it's the right timing. And you're really good about timing and picking your episodes. I'm a little bit more like, I get my mind set on one, and then I'll try to do a couple of years, but I just can't do it. I can't get this one out of my mind. And so then I'll just do it. And it's not even about the timing. It's completely selfish. So you're a little bit better about thinking about the environment at the time than I am.
Well, I mean, different processes, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Good conversation. I got no fucking clue what's coming next. Social media, Gmail, fucking suggest away.
Hit us up, you guys. Share with your friends, man. I know everybody's stuck at home looking for shit to do, and a lot of people like myself only listen to podcasts on the commute. Well, I've now found myself listening to podcasts all day long. Of course, certain ones I can't because my kid, but tell your friends about it. See, people are looking for shit to do. So, if you think they'll like 2 bozos like us and what the fuck we're talking about, tell them what's up.
Yep.
We would appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys sharing our shit. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, good shit, man. Good story, bro.
All right.
I'm feeling good. I'm literally like, dude, I want to go to bed early so I don't have fucked up dreams like usual. Like, I literally want to fucking go to bed. All right. Good stuff, man.
All right, brother.
Later.
Later.